Okay, so the United States did lose to Turkey 3-2. That is true. And there's just so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. So why don't I start with this? What did we learn? Hello, hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And today we have the 7 Things We Learned series, where every single day following a US men's national team game, we tell you 7 things that we learned. Now listen, there are more than 7 lessons, so you can let me know in the comment section down below. What did you learn from United States 3? Actually, no. Turkey 3. United States 2. And just to make one thing clear, the United States did end up advancing in first place, and Turkiye actually got eliminated from the World Cup. They finished last in our group. Okay, and before we start, I'd like to kindly request for you to hit the like button in this video if you haven't already. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We have been trying to grow that platform as well. And last but not least, we made a video yesterday about how this 2026 World Cup is changing the United States of America. It's changing soccer in America. So if you haven't watched that video, I'm going to put the link in the description of this video, so do not miss out, okay? That is all. Let's roll the intro and let's go to lesson number 1, because there's a lot to talk about. Lesson number 1. And before I get to lesson number 1, I want to make one thing clear. I hate losing. Losing is like the second thing I hate the most in life. The number 1 is when people that are very disingenuous make fake rumors online that I'm shorter than Tom Cruise. Do not believe them. It's not true. I am not shorter than Tom Cruise. Okay, I just want to make that clear from the get-go. But lesson number 1, it's that it's not all doom and gloom. Let's stop with some of the negativity that I saw yesterday on X, social media, even on YouTube. It's not all doom and gloom. Guys, we played our reserves. We played the backups. The only starter that played this game or started this game was Weston McKennie. That's it. Pulisic came off the bench. Balogun didn't play. Tyler Adams didn't play. Anthony Robinson didn't play. Des came off the bench. Our defense that was horrible. The starters didn't play, right? Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Alex Freeman came off the bench. So, again, we play the backups. Let's relax. And if you really think about it, it was the perfect moment to lose, right? We could afford a loss right there. We still topped the group. We finished first. We gave Turkey a little gift before they caught their flight back home because they were eliminated. And I want to tell you guys a story. So this year, I was at the TST tournament, right? I had a team in the TST and I was one of the coaches. The $1 million tournament. So this is a big tournament, a very tough one. And we brought a good team. And in the group stage, the same thing happened to us. We won the first 2 games. We were already qualified. We lost the 3rd game after we rotated. And guess what? It did not ruin our momentum. We went to the first knockout game and we beat Cagliari 3-0. And they had Nagolan in their team. Remember him from the Belgian national team? Losing that game didn't ruin our momentum. And losing this game to Turkiye is not going to ruin the momentum for the US men's national team. I am not concerned about Bosnia. Am I cautiously optimistic? Yes. Do I respect Bosnia? Yes. That's a very tough team. But I'm not concerned about it. I think our starters, when push comes to shove, they will show up, they will perform, and we'll be fine. As for Turkey, have a safe trip back home, okay? They're out. Lesson number 2 is our depth was tested and they failed. However, I'm kind of happy about it. I'm not happy because they failed. I am happy because of how much our depth has improved if you go back 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's insane. Think about it for a second. We played our backups and we just went toe-to-toe and we could have beat Turkiye, right? A team that actually qualified to the World Cup in World Cup qualifying. You go back 10 years, our starters couldn't qualify to the World Cup in CONCACAF, one of the worst confederations in the world. Now our backups just played a World Cup game against Turkiye that qualified through UEFA and we went toe-to-toe. We could have won it. And for anyone that goes there and says, Turkey didn't really care. They were already eliminated. That's not true. They played their starters, and did you see how much they celebrated when they won the game? They cared. They were very physical. They wanted to win this, right? They didn't want to go down with 3 losses. So they actually tried, and they wanted to win, and our backups went toe-to-toe with them. And let me ask you another question. How many teams in the World Cup can afford to play all of their backups and win games? I think outside of France, no one. And even France, In 2022, I think in the last game, they lost to Tunisia in the group stage when I think they rotated. Brazil in 2022, they rotated in the last game and they lost to Cameroon. So that was already eliminated, by the way. So I don't know if they were already eliminated, but they were eliminated, Cameroon. The point I'm making here is, yes, our depth was tested and they failed. And I'm going to talk about a lot of the negatives, right? I'm going to talk about a lot of players that shouldn't play in this World Cup anymore. We'll talk about that. But the improvement that we've had, when you look at the big picture, it wasn't that bad. Okay, now we have to go through a quick hydration break. I'm very thirsty and rent is due very soon, so we got to go through a hydration break. If Fox can do it, I can do it as well. After the hydration break, we have many negatives. Okay, I know I've been very positive to start the video, but there are a lot of negatives that we do have to address, we do have to talk about. So before we continue, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Underdog. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back very soon. Imagine the US men's national team wins the World Cup and you win $1 million. It can happen. Look, the odds of winning the lottery are roughly 1 in 300 million. So technically, the US men's national team winning the World Cup has higher odds or better odds than you winning the lottery. And if the United States wins the 2026 World Cup, Underdog is giving away $25 million, essentially $1 million for 25 users. It's true. And all you have to do to enter is make one entry on any sport or product in the Underdog app between now and the end of the 2026 World Cup. It can be Pick'em, the predictions market, whatever you want. And if you do not have an Underdog account or app, you can download the Underdog app by using the link in the description of this video or on our Instagram bio. And you must also use our promo code Tactical. New customers that use our promo code get $50 in bonus entries when they play their first $5 with the code Tactical. One nation, Underdog, indivisible, with $25 million given away. Thank you very much, Underdog, and don't forget to use our link in the promo code Tactical. Okay, we are back, and now we're going to talk about lesson number 3, and you are going to smash the like button right now because it helps the channel a lot, and subscribe if you want to. So lesson number 3. Miles Robinson and Mark McKenzie. Enough is enough. They're just not cut for this level, right? All 3 goals, they were culpable in one way, shape, or form. Like the first goal was pretty much most on Mark McKenzie. I said this in the live stream that we did for the game, right? I said the first goal, Mark McKenzie was at fault and Miles Robinson could have done better. The second goal, Miles Robinson was at fault and so was McKenzie. In the third goal, they were all at fault. Right? The whole defense collapsed in the last minute of this game. On the ball, Miles Robinson was abysmal. A lot of bad giveaways, poor passes. Mark McKenzie, I don't remember many terrible giveaways, but mediocre at best. The point here is also with Mark McKenzie specifically, he's not a bad defender. But for the U.S., he always has these bad moments, bad giveaways that ultimately lead to goals. We've seen that since the 2021 Nations League final against Mexico, that he just gifted them a goal. And Miles Robinson, I just don't think he's a player good enough for the U.S. men's national team. He might be all right in MLS, even though this season he hasn't been. But again, I don't think he's cut for this level. These two should not play. So the lesson here is if we have to play, we have to play center backs, but we only have 4 options that are realistically useful in the World Cup. Austin Trusty, that had a very good game. He was quite good. Tim Ream, that despite being old, he's been holding his own just fine. Chris Richards, he's our best center back. And Alex Freeman, that is an incredible player. Those 4. Outside of that, we don't have another center back that can actually help this team in the World Cup. Lesson number 4 is about Tim Weah. If we had any question marks or doubts about Tim Weah possibly starting in the knockout rounds or fighting for a starting spot, yeah, that ain't happening. This performance was abysmal. And I know people are going to say he was being played out of position. Playing on the left wing is not really his thing. He's now a fullback or he plays better on the right. The thing with Weah is that he looked kind of slow. The touch was off. The decision-making was off. And he's a very one-dimensional player. So when things aren't going his way, they're just not going to work. And then on defense, I don't remember him contributing much. It just didn't look like the Tim Weah that we know. We've seen him play well. We know he's better than that. But for this game, he just wasn't built for it. And there were questions before the World Cup started. Are we going to start Dest or Weah? Are there certain circumstances where you start Weah over Dest? What's going to happen? Well, we saw it, and I think it's fair to say that there is no circumstance where we start Weah over Dest or over anyone at this point. But could Weah still contribute off the bench? Yes. he's just not going to start. Yeah, the performance was bad. And I do want to also mention that Ricardo Pepi was quite bad. Okay, Balogun is the starter. I don't think anyone had any doubt about that, right? Even before the World Cup. But after we've seen the World Cup performances of Balogun and Pepi, Pepi can still help the team, and he should come off the bench. But he was not good this game. Balogun has been good in the World Cup. Balogun is the locked-in starter, okay? Let's just cut that. There's no question about it. Lesson number 5 is Matt Freese is most certainly the starting goalkeeper. And it's not because he's incredible. I actually don't rate him very highly. It's just that maybe he wasn't tested enough in the World Cup. Matt Freese hasn't been terrible or great, but Matt Turner wasn't the reason we lost. And he wasn't a big issue. And it's not like he made any blatant mistakes. He just doesn't make saves. That's the problem. You need a goalkeeper that makes big saves from time to time and just doesn't seem to be making them lately. Right, we saw that in the friendly against, when did Turner play? He played the first friendly, I think it was against Senegal, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think he played a half. My memory's failing me right now. It's super late. And then Matt Freese in the World Cup, he was fine, not perfect. The problem is I don't think any of our goalkeepers actually really make big saves. But at this point, based on what I saw from Matt Turner, also looked far less confident on the ball, shaky. It's going to be Matt Freese all the way. I also don't know why we started Matt Turner. If Matt Freese is the starter, you don't need to rest him against Turkiye. You didn't have to do that. You should have played him, kept him sharp, tested him. But Matt Turner started. He didn't really deliver, so the starter for the knockout rounds will be Matt Freese. And let's pray, let's hope that this guy's in form. Lesson number 6 is we found out what I had already said when the roster came out. When the roster came out, I said I was worried about the midfield depth. And of course, the defense. But the midfield depth is quite concerning. We have no backup to Tyler Adams. If he's injured or he gets a red, we have no backup. And then some people will say, what about Sebastian Berhalter? He plays with heart. And he scored a goal, a beautiful goal. It was a wonderful goal. He got an assist, also a great assist. He was the man of the match, even though he wasn't, right? He wasn't the man of the match. I thought McKennie played better. Trusty played better. But Berhalter had a bit of a crazy game, right? His job was to protect the back line. And if you look at that specifically, he did a terrible job in the first half. Terrible job protecting the back line. But he did get a wonderful assist, and he must get credit for that. He actually had many good corners. In the second half, early on, Berhalter actually scored a beautiful goal. And on the ball, he was good in the second half. He was actually quite good in the second half. But he's not able to protect the back line anywhere near what Tyler Adams can do, right? Nowhere close to Tyler Adams. And then after that, what are the other options we have? Tillman doesn't really do that job as a ball-winning midfielder. Roldan, no way. No way. So the backup of Tyler would be Sebastian Berhalter, but he can't really play that role as a ball-winning midfielder. That's not his thing. So we have no backup, okay? We're going to have to ride with Tyler Adams all the way to the end of the World Cup. Pray that he doesn't get injured. Pray that he doesn't get a red card. It is what it is. Lucky for us, if we make a deep run, we might have, 3 more games, so he should be able to handle that. And he did rest this game. He didn't play a single minute, but again, it is concerning. Last but not least, we have lesson number 7. And if you haven't already, make sure to drop a like in this video and let me know in the comment section down below, what did you learn from Turkey 3, United States 2? So lesson number 7. If you look at the big picture, okay, just bear with me here. Look at the big picture. This was a fantastic group stage from the U.S. men's national team. Okay, it was the best we've ever had. We topped the group in the very last round. Can you think of any World Cup where in the last round we could afford to just rest all of our starters and we still topped the group with the loss? We scored 8 goals in the group stage. 8 goals. We've never done that throughout World Cup history. I don't think we've ever scored 8 goals in a World Cup. I could be wrong. I didn't do any research on that. I don't think I remember us scoring 8 goals in a World Cup. And we just scored 8 goals just in the group stage. On top of that, playing our subs in the last game. Okay, so overall, when you look at the big picture, it was great. And then when you look at our World Cup bracket, which we'll make a video about that, diving into the bracket, we got somewhat of a favorable bracket. I'll dive into it and compare it to other teams. We'll make a whole video about that. Don't worry. So this World Cup group stage was a massive success for the U.S. men's national team and for U.S. soccer. And in terms of U.S. soccer, as I said, I made a whole video yesterday dedicated to that, of how this World Cup is changing the United States of America, or changing U.S. soccer forever. The link to that video will be in the description of this video. But the point of lesson number 7 is that when you look at the big picture, this was very positive. This has been the best World Cup the U.S. men's national team has ever had so far. Now, we need to get the job done in the knockout rounds. None of this will have mattered if we go on and we lose to Bosnia. We have to beat Bosnia. And we have to beat the team that we faced in the round of 16, which we're going to go through the bracket to figure that out. So we have to do that. We have to make it to the quarterfinals. If we do that, then we'll be able to say this was the best World Cup the U.S. men's national team has ever had. But so far, so good. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. And that is all for today. We're going to do a video going through the bracket. We're going to do a video doing a match preview for the Bosnia game. And we're going to do the full coverage of the Bosnia game as well. The live watch along, the 7 things we learned, everything. I want to thank you all very much for watching and have a great day.